Welcome to the Embrace Womanhood podcast, hosted by Nurse Melinda Godwin from Finish First Medical in St. George, Utah. In each podcast, we're going to explore themes that strengthen your mind, nurture your body, and uplift your spirit. And now, here's your host, Nurse Melinda Godwin.
Okay, so I am here, Nurse Melinda, with Audrey Hansen, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Audrey that not everybody may know. No, just kidding. I met Audrey, what has it been, 2 years ago in a networking event, and we belong to the same networking group. And through the last 2 years, I have been just mesmerized by the stuff she does and the talent she has for touch and healing touch. And her passion is really more about healing the community, but I don't know, the ripple effect, I would say, right? You heal one person and then it ripples throughout multiple generations of people. And we know this because, I don't know, somebody told us on the internet. But I love you, Audrey, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to just ask you a few questions. I don't want this to be like Q&A. I would rather this be just a conversation that we normally have and coffee or over tea or over, massage or whatever.
And we've done those.
And let's just get to know Audrey.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. So first, let's just kind of start off. Audrey, where were you born?
I was born in a little valley, Cache Valley, up in Logan, Utah, in a town called Hiram. So I lived there for 17 years, and then my parents wanted us to move to Logan, 7 miles away, and I started college about that point. I graduated from high school and went to Utah State University. Graduated in elementary education, found my partner and husband and married, and decided to stay at home to have kids and raise them in North Logan. So I've been in Cache Valley for 35 years.
Wow. And
raised my kids. Most of them were there for just depends. But after 35 years, Southern Utah, I came to St. George after I graduated and fell in love with this place, and it was just, it's home. It called me here and found a way to get our family down here, and we moved in 2005, so 20 years here in St. George.
It's crazy. Now, I did not know this about you, but we have similar stories. So I went into secondary education because in Utah, if anybody's from outside of Utah, maybe you don't know this, but we look for jobs that are acceptable for women. I mean, especially back when we graduated, and those acceptable jobs were education or nursing, but it was more on how could you function as a mother taking care of the kids so that the husband could bring home the money. Right. And so it was never about our passions. It was never about, my biggest passion is education, by all means. I went to school for that. Right. But then I wanted to teach something that you wasn't required to learn, that it was something you wanted to learn, because the last thing I wanted was that kid that didn't want to be there. And so that's what ended up, I went into nursing to get a health degree so that I could teach health occupations. And then it just took me off on a whole nother level. But
welcome to the Embrace Womanhood podcast, hosted by Nurse Melinda Godwin from Finish First Medical in St. George, Utah. In each podcast, we're going to explore themes that strengthen your mind, nurture your body, and uplift your spirit. And now, here's your host, Nurse Melinda Godwin.
So not in the elementary education department. So I do teach. I love to engage and interact with the community. And so teaching has kind of just been something that naturally, organically happens. Even in just small groups with people, I'll find myself in conversation with friends who are dealing with ailments or things that are not working health-wise. And I just naturally get this thinking cap on. And just from all of the years of my own struggles in health with my youngest son, Parker, that really began the journey of me studying the human body and really digging in and into a deeper level that was so outside of my box, because I was in the community of the LDS community, and that's a huge part of my life. So there was this, don't go outside of the box, don't look outside of over here for other modalities. So I'll share a little bit about that. My son Parker was my fourth child. I worked at the health department as a stay-at-home mom. I did a lot of my work from home on the phone as a lactation specialist and working with women. So even there, I'm teaching again,
Right.
and mentoring, coaching. It's just been a part of what I do.
Right.
So here I am with this 3-year-old, and I know by now, for the first 3 years of his life, his development has been delayed. Things aren't right. He's screaming 3 to 4 hours a day. He's crawling under the bed, taking these fits. He's nonverbal, chronic ear infection, chronic croup. And I'm at my wit's end on how to help this little boy. Going to doctors, experts, they're scratching their head, kind of like, well, here's another antibiotic, try this, let's see if we can, that was the answers. And I trusted all of that. Like literally it was, I trust and put all my faith into the man in the white coat.
Western medicine.
Yes.
Yes.
And also at the health department was very much vaccinations were a part of what we taught, and it was just, that's what you do. And loved that my kids were, I was like the poster board mom of vaccinations for my kids.
Right.
So along comes Parker, all of these health issues, going to specialists, not getting any answers really that were resolving the problem. And it was through an alternative route, through, her name was Thea Yeager. She still is practicing up in Logan. She's retiring, but she still has her clientele. Amazing woman. And so I go into her office, and she simply says, this is not your son. You give me 3 to 4 months, and I will show you a completely different kid. And the tears rolled. Because I'm like, wait a minute. And I did say this. I'm like, wait a minute, but you're not a doctor. How can you say that?
Right. How can you guarantee something different? Yeah.
And
okay.
not only guarantee, she said, not only will I say this, but I will promise you, I will show you a completely different kid if you do everything I tell you.
Okay. So what was it?
So back then it was very unfamiliar, but nowadays everybody knows about energy medicine, and they know how you can go in and have bioscans, and it can read the body energy and all the things that are in balance, out of balance. And so that's what she was doing, but she didn't use any terminology like that. It looked very scientific and Western. And so she ran the scan, and basically we found out that the first thing was that she said his immune system is shut down. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to turn it back on. We're going to show his body how to turn it back on. We're going to use homeopathy, which is a frequency. And I was like, I don't know what that means. It was right over my head. But I'm like, hey, I'm desperate. I'll do what you say. And so I go home, and I start him on these little drops and come back a month later for the next scan. And in that scan, I need to back up because there was one more appointment that happened that's really significant. I had a neighbor that her mom did body talk, which is an energy modality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, my mom just learned this. Like, maybe she can help Parker, because everyone in my neighborhood was trying to help Parker. They saw the frustration I was in. And so her mom came into town, and this was 2 weeks after my first appointment with Thea. And she did a body talk on Parker. But the crazy thing was she worked on me. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even there. And that was blowing my mind. I'm like, how is this possible? So after she finished the session, she didn't say anything. She just kind of did some muscle testing and tapping. And then 20 minutes later, she's like, hey, you're all done. And I'm like, well, what did you do? And she's like, oh, we worked on his DNA. We did some cellular repair. he has some vaccination issues that are related to this and some other things. And I'm like, how do you talk to his cells? Like, you just tapped on my head and I didn't hear you say anything. It was so foreign.
Right.
But deep in my soul and my heart was desperately looking for answers. And it was that day when I came home after the session with Parker, he fell asleep. And I couldn't wake him up. I thought, oh, it's the afternoon nap. He'll wake up for dinner. 7 o'clock comes around and he's still snoring away. And I try to wake him up, nothing. Put him to bed for the night. He doesn't, like, I take him out of his clothes, change everything, get him ready for bed. Next morning, he's still not waking up. I get him up and ready for church, still asleep, like changing his clothes, everything. And I'm like, what the heck is happening?
His body's repairing because we repair in a state of sleep.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what's happening. His body is regenerating, redesigning its functions.
Yep. And so he finally did wake up. And then I go in 2 weeks later to do another session with Thea. She runs the bioscan. And she says to me, here's the reason why I said what I said. I suspected this was what was going on with Parker. But it comes back on the scan that it was vaccination damage. And she says, if we catch them when they're young, we can reverse the effects of it. We can detox this out of his body. And that's why I told you what I said. Well, I'm still skeptical because I work at the health department.
Right.
And everything I know in education is all about. And I was really questioning. I'm like, really?
And to be honest with you, I would want to interject and say this isn't anti-vax because not every one of your kids responded this way, right?
Correct.
So not every kid is going to respond negatively to a vaccine.
Correct.
So now is it in a route of administration? Is it where the needle was placed? Is it technique? Is it all these other things versus just the vaccine itself?
Correct.
Right? So
there's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
Even if his immune system,
right,
when that's all happening.
Right.
So watching this process, and I came back for my third appointment with Thea, and everything was balanced and green. And by that point, I have to mention that I had him in the program like Baby Watch or up to 3. When he turned 3, all these events happened at the same time. I met Thea, and then he was being introduced to an occupational therapist through the program, through the federal funding. And so I had like a team of people that were working with him, speech pathology, occupational therapy, and they're watching his development over these 4 months. So when I sit down with this team to do a review, they're scratching their heads because they're like, this is not the same kid that walked in this, that we met 4 months ago.
Right. What
That's
have you been
how
doing?
significant.
I hear that all the time. What have you been doing?
Yeah. And ear infections were gone. Croup went away. He was, the nonverbal, all of a sudden he had vocabulary. It was like it unlocked his mind and his ability to communicate, eye contact. Even to hold and touch him was something he didn't like. So they're saying, oh, he's on the spectrum of the autistic scale. You're going to have to take care of him. Probably he will live with you for the rest of your life. And now 4 months later, my child is like awesomely amazing. And
Right.
I didn't have to deal with. In fact, from that point forward, I never gave him another antibiotic until high school. And he was testing for his finals, and he's like, Mom, I need an antibiotic. I'm too sick, and I don't want to sweat this one out. So, but there you go, night and day difference. And so in that moment of sitting in Thea's office on the second day, it was this download of, you will do this someday. And I remember driving home crying in my car because I have 4 little kids. I don't know what this is or any of it.
Right, because in the church, when we're looking at, now it's a little different now. Things are a little bit more acceptable. We can chat about it, but we're looking 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In the church, this was considered mysticism. This was considered anti-religious, anti-God, anti-everything, because you are taking an energy approach to healing versus taking the Western medicine, stand on a pedestal, trust at all costs.
Yeah.
Somebody, another human being, which I practice medicine, right? I'm a nurse practitioner, so I totally get it. But at the same time, I don't know everything. And I'm never, ever going to tell my patients that I do, right? I don't feel like that is a healthy situation because I don't want you to blindly follow what I say. I want you to be educated and do what's best for your body. But at the same time, coming from a religious aspect too, you're talking about something that is absolutely untouchable. You are not allowed
Yeah.
to even consider something like this.
So all of this really was like a closet. I was hiding my studies in, it was not something that I would talk about to other people. I kept it very secret. I went back to Thea and said, okay, I'm pulling the curtain. What's behind the curtain? And explain this to me, because I know it's more than just your science that you're trying to make it look like.
This woo-woo stuff.
So she sends me down to the library, and I'm walking down this aisle where there's channelers and all that. I mean, I was literally like looking around the room to see who was watching me, to walk down this aisle to check out these books. Wayne Dyer. I mean,
Wayne Dyer.
right? And these amazing people that I didn't understand or know. And so my journey began, and I just was like, look, I don't understand this, but I do know I have a passion to learn, and I'm just going to start studying. I'll go to the library and start reading books and understanding all of this. And that's kind of how it all began. And it was about 2 years after that when I moved to St. George. And then my story took a really big turn, because as I came into St. George, I moved into a neighbor who had a lot of the same interests as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And met her at church. She was actually teaching a class, and one of the books that was taboo in my house was sitting on the Relief Society table as part of the lesson. And I was like, you dare bring this into the church house?
What? Are you kidding me? And the church is still standing.
A
Check
beautiful
it out.
book. It's called Remembering Wholeness by Carol Tuttle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She lives here,
Yeah.
apparently. I don't know that for
Amazing.
sure.
Yeah, she is from Utah.
Mhm.
So these books began the journey of studying, and I connected with my friend, and Parker started kindergarten. He was my last of 4. So now my mind is time to go back to teaching school, get my certifications up to date, and I'm going to go back to work.
Right.
And so here I am studying with Kay, and she's like, hey, let's go to massage school, and we can get a license to touch, because we're going to open up our own healing center and do all this energy medicine work. And I remember going, okay, I'm like, I already have my degree. I'm on my way to school. I have still 4 kids. I don't have the income to pay for another school, and I don't want to be a massage therapist. That was something that I made a vow at a very young age, that I would never do massage therapy, because my mom would always ask me to work on her. And she would say, your hands are healing. Will you just
Yeah.
put them on my neck, hold my shoulders? And she's struggled with a lot of health issues. And it was fun in the beginning, but as the years continued on, and this was kind of my little job, I despised it and really didn't like it. And she would say, you should be a massage therapist. And I'm like, never.
The rebel in you. My dad used to say, you got to be a nurse. And I'm like, oh, hell no.
Right.
Look at me.
And here you are.
I know.
It's
I
crazy.
know.
It's so crazy. So I was like, no, thanks, but you can go have fun. Well, I get a call about 3 weeks after the first time she presents this to me. And I remember sitting at the practice waiting for the kids at soccer, and she calls, it's raining, and she's like, Audrey, she says, I went around and I found the school that we're going to go to, and I signed you up. And you have 3 weeks to figure out how to get your tuition, and
There
the
you
instructor will let us pay as we go. And I think that was the piece that allowed me to even, it literally was, you have to do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the money was my biggest roadblock, honestly. And when she said I could pay as we go, the tears started rolling, and it was like, I got to figure out how to justify why I'm doing this. How am I going to explain this to the family? And
surrender. Mm-hmm.
And I knew I needed to. But I honestly, the way I justified it in my head was, I will go and learn anatomy, physiology, pathology, all the things about the human body, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finish, I'll never do another massage session. I'm not doing that. 0.
Because it was the idea of touching, right? Or was it the idea? I mean, I know you just mentioned your mom, but really at this point, is it because this isn't kosher? It's because you're touching another human being? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Because touch is very intimate. It really is. And there is an opportunity when you're in the healing space, right? So to really heal with touch. But it's also, I guess intimate is really the only word I can have to think about.
Mm-hmm. The intimate part of it, I don't think was an issue. The feet were. I was like, gross.
It's so
And
gross.
just that I hated it so bad. Like, I really didn't I despised that I had to, and think about it. An hour to just sit and massage somebody for an hour seemed impossible to me.
Right.
But as I got into school, and by the time I finished, I really did find that, oh my gosh, there is something here. And it was more from the feedback of the people that I was working on. And my very first client was, it was like my mom talking to me again. He's like, I have done massages all over the world, and I have never experienced. Your hands are magic, and you have a gift. And and he's like, and how long have you been doing this? So I half-truthed it because he was my first client, and I was nervous as all get out. But I'd been in school for 2 months, getting ready to that first appointment. So I just said, I've been in school for 2 months. And anyway, a lot of the people who came to school were my continuing clients after I graduated.
Oh, I love that.
So, but I really thought I would be back teaching. That's where I wanted to go and be. And then as that unfolded as it did, I realized that there is something here that I do enjoy, and that sitting in the room for an hour to work on somebody isn't even enough time. The time would just go whoosh like that.
Because really you're not just massaging at this point, right? Because you are doing a lot of energy healing. You are reading the body. I mean, if you just think about this, massage therapy is about knowing where the muscles are, knowing where the knots are, knowing where the damage is, muscling it out, that sort of thing. Those are like the conscious efforts of a massage therapist. But because I've had your massage, it is not the same. It is more of you understand, but you're also, I feel like you're reading my body. You're reading my tension. You're reading where I'm at. You're reading and understanding how my body is functioning to reprogram it. Is how I feel.
Yeah. It's fascinating, and I think the key to it is it's the passion that's there, the attention, that it's all present in the now of where I am and what's happening, and the hands know where to be, where to go, and what to do. And I'll have people that will finish a session who really struggle to even walk down the hallway. They're like, I got to go sit down. I'm not in my body. I feel like I'm drunk. And that's a real thing that you can have after a massage. And so there is a natural gift, and its intention is everything. Intention of focus in what I'm doing and where I'm at. If I'm sitting there watching the clock waiting for this thing to be over, I'm not in the right profession.
Right.
And you all know what that feels like, because I've had those massages where it's like I'm wasting
reading a book
my money.
And
I don't even want to be here.
Right.
So then I stepped into, I paid for all of it. This is the crazy thing, is because I didn't have the money for this, but I knew that I needed to do it, and it was determination. And so I set my mind to it. I figured out how to generate an income while my kids were still at home. So I took up a cleaning job to work at 4 a.m, get home by 7, get them off to school, go do my school, and then I had a couple of homes I would go clean in the afternoon, be home, and take care of all of the responsibilities, dinner, laundry, and all of it, doctor's appointments. And then I would start my studies at 8 and go till about midnight, and off to sleep I would go, maybe averaging 4 to 5 hours of sleep that whole year. And I finished school, not thinking I would be doing massage after that. That was almost 18 years ago when I was doing this. And I paid for it. I paid for my whole tuition, everything, and had saved up enough money at the end of that when we were getting ready to test. And I went and did my nationals so I can work in any state, not just Utah. So I went the extra mile and said, I want to get it all. Let's do it. And the instructor of the school said, hey, the Upledger Institute is offering half off of tuition for cranial sacral therapy for any students. You haven't taken your nationals. You're still in the school. Do you want to go? How much is it? And it was really literally exactly the same amount of money that I had saved off to the side. And so that door opened, and I did cranial sacral therapy with Upledgers, modules 1 and 2, and it just kept continuing. I just kept adding to my tool belt. The body talk modality blew my mind, how that worked, and that was really my passion. And so I went after that and got my certifications there in body talk, and I've got other modalities, hypnotherapy. I just love to learn. I've done the foot zone reflexology. Do I do those sessions, the hypnotherapy? No, because it's not where I belong.
Right.
But I have these it really does build on top of each other, which then brings me to the magnesium, which is another business that I decided to go ahead and move forward with. I'd worked with the magnesium. I found it about 10 years ago. And I took a challenge of the lady that I learned this from and brought the magnesium home and started soaking in it. And I could not believe the difference in how I felt.
Right.
Naturally, when people come in to do massage, it's like they start sharing and talking, and you start learning about their ailments. I can't sleep, or I have this problem. And so through that environment in itself, I began to just problem-solving issues using alternative medicine and modalities that I've learned. And I worked with another amazing woman for 7 years who was an intuitive. And I learned about gut health and how to detox the body and proper hydration. Another mentor of mine who I met back in 2019 and went and studied with was Barbara O'Neill, who came to St. George last year.
She was here.
She was here. And got to meet with her and follow up on what's going on and talk to her about a lot of cool things. That's probably for another podcast. But so many exciting things.
Right.
But this is the foundation of how it's all come into place. And it was never anything I thought I would ever be or do. But I know I'm in the right place because the passion is there and just the excitement. And I'll tell you, I really started getting depressed during the whole COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really getting depressed watching the numbers of autoimmune diseases that are showing up and the health of our nation, our country, and the clients that are coming in. And just like, are we going to exterminate maybe 2 more even infertility is an issue.
Yes.
So many
Because our
things.
babies are no longer producing testosterone and estrogen. It's really interesting.
So many things.
Yeah.
So just watching all of this, and I really was discouraging and really kind of got depressed about it, like hopeless and just like, what is the point?
Mm-hmm.
And I can help people here and there. And the people that were coming to visit, when I started working with this gal, Sophia, this is when things really shifted. I would watch her take people who were on their deathbed and nurse them back to health. They'd been to the doctors, done everything. And she's, comes from a background of the polygamists up in Colorado City, and they use the herbs and all of the natural remedies.
Yep.
And watching it in real time. And these were the 3 biggest things that I learned. Because she would say to me, quit drinking water out of a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's water. It doesn't matter. But it does, because I watched. And then the water we want to drink is water that comes from Mother Earth. It's alive. It has electrons in it, and the body loves it, and the cells will open up to absorb it. Studying with Barbara O'Neill, learned about how to really hydrate the body with the Celtic sea salt. And I've seen amazing things happen with people by using it properly in that way. I'm not going to go into a lot of those things. This is why I teach these classes. I'm handing golden nuggets to people.
Right.
Simple things that we just don't know about that make a big difference. Hydration is so important. So as soon as I would get my client properly hydrated with the right water, use the Celtic sea salt, and we added in the magnesium, soaking every day for 20 minutes at least to 40 minutes, they would come back in 2 weeks, and about 70% of their symptoms were gone or eliminated.
I would imagine a lot of it is because magnesium, there's different forms, but the magnesium you use restores muscle, right? And it helps you with muscle pains. It helps with the, what am I trying to say? The dissolving or the getting rid of lactic acid and all those things. And I would say on a cellular level, it is definitely taking away inflammation, which we now know inflammation is the number 1 cause for chronic disease and the number 1 cause for autoimmune. So I can imagine how powerful magnesium really is. It helps you sleep. I mean, so give me some benefits of what the magnesium does.
Okay. So this is a transdermal magnesium chloride. Comes from the Netherlands. It's right out of the seabeds. I don't dilute it down. It ships across. I bottle it right here in St. George. And this magnesium chloride is the most bioavailable of all magnesiums. Most people know magnesium as an oral supplementation, pills. And there's a lot of different magnesiums, and some will highlight different benefits in the body. So a lot of people get confused. Well, which one do I really need? Which one should I take? Do I take 2? What do I?
Right.
You don't need any of those. Eliminate them, because you're only going to get about 3 to 5% of that anyway.
Yep. Because
and they're like horse pills. They're huge. So take the stress off the body. Take the stress off of the liver and the kidneys trying to break everything down and eliminate it out of your body. And just go to a transdermal soak. You're not orally taking this. You're soaking in it. And I have it in a spray where you can apply it on the feet at night. Parents love this with their little kids. It helps them wind down and calm down in the evening. And they go to bed and they sleep through most of the night. And they love it. I love this to take it with me. Charlie horses. Throw it in the gym bag. Travel. It's easy to travel with. You can take your magnesium with you on the plane. If you don't have time for a soak, and the dose for this is 1/4 cup, you can do it in a foot soak. And I like to use the Pyrex baking dishes. I prefer glass over plastic. All you need is like an inch of water to just get those bottom of the pores of those feet into the dish. Warm water opens the pores up, so it makes it more absorbent. And soak. Or if you want to get in a big bath, same amount, 1/4 a cup in the tub, same amount of time. I always like to put it on my skin when I do the tub one, and then I just get in and relax and soak. And it's amazing. And I'll use it at night to help me sleep.
Yep.
And I'll also use it in the morning when I get home from the gym. It revitalizes and energizes me, and I can go take on the day. So you asked the benefits. A lot of people are struggling with anxiety. Magnesium is like this soothing conductor over the nervous system. It like feeds the nervous system, so those neurons and synapses can actually communicate with each other. It's the lubrication for our nervous system. So if you're struggling with foggy brain, can't remember, and find yourself spaced out half the time, your neurons are not able to function. They need that magnesium to make those connections. So improvement in your ability to think and process information. Another one is, like you said, the muscles are a huge part of that. And here's something that, and it should be corrected. Back when they were talking about ratios of magnesium to calcium,
Right.
the ratio was written incorrectly, and they were saying you need it's a 1 to 2, 1 magnesium to 2 calcium. Not true. It's actually 1 to 1, and so we're over calcifying. We're doing, and the supplementing that we're doing can actually cause osteoporosis. It's too brittle. You become like a piece of chalk that shatters on the floor. You need to have the balance of the magnesium, which softens, calcium hardens. So too much calcium can cause bone spurs, kidney stones, all these things that people are struggling with.
Right.
So I always say, then there are people who do need to calcium supplement. You need to, talk to your doctor, and I'm not your doctor.
Right.
And you should all do your homework. Right?
Amen.
And so, but go do the research, and you will see that we've overcalcified, and we've got a problem with women in osteoporosis.
Yes, we do. A huge one.
Yes.
85% of women in the care center.
And surprise, it's from over-supplementing with calcium that's caused the problem. And, we'll leave that one alone. Let's go on to another benefit. There's the cramps in Charlie horses and the restless leg, and that one really is miserable for a lot of people when you are just in bed and you can't get calmed down. Rub this magnesium on those muscles, and it will soothe them and calm them down. If your eye's twitching, it's a magnesium deficiency. If your heart is palpitating, you're getting these rhythms that are off, do a magnesium soak, and it'll be gone. It's that simple.
Well, and I know that most women, too, in menopause, if you're starting perimenopause, menopause, we start getting this weird shoulder pain, usually on the right side. It's like, why is my shoulder hurting every single night? What's going on with that? And it is a sign, right, that we need some sex hormones. But I put the magnesium on that shoulder every night before I go to bed because it just relaxes that shoulder and allows me to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that you can add on to that that's amazing is castor oil. For bone spurs even, and kidney stones, gallbladder stones, do the castor oil packs. You can put magnesium on it if you want to. I mean, it's incredible what these remedies they're not talked about.
Right, because they're so taboo.
Exactly. It's incredible. And I've used the castor oil packs a lot with kidney stones, and it will remedy that. I mean, I know what a kidney stone feels like because I've had them.
Yes.
And when that pain starts, in my lower back, I'll just get the packs on and start using the castor oil, and it just melts them and I don't have to go through that horrific, painful passing of a kidney stone. So, energy.
Here's a Western key. If you're passing a kidney stone, the best thing to do is get into a hot tub or a pool, a swimming pool, because when you're in that, there's no gravity. So it will allow the urethras to open up a little bit more, the tubes from the bladder, it'll open up and allow that to flow a little bit better because it takes the gravity off that.
Yes. It's that pressure of the stone that's creating that pain.
Yes.
The fluid can't get through. So open that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that people are struggling, everybody, you hear it everywhere. I just don't have enough energy. I'm always so tired. That's another deficiency in magnesium. And what happens is, if you're familiar with the cell, we have the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse that generates ATP.
Yes.
So there's a
For
cycle.
those of you listening, ATP is energy. Okay.
Yes. And there's a cycle that produces that energy, and there's 8 steps to that cycle. It's called the Krebs cycle.
Yep.
6 of those steps require magnesium to produce that energy.
Wow.
So if you don't have enough energy, you're not enough magnesium, you're not producing the energy. You can't. So again, you want to have more energy, magnesium, get your saturation levels up. Now, long ago, 35 years ago, when we would get our minerals through our gardens in our food, but because agriculture is the way that it is, and a lot of our food is now
highly processed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's the plants can't pull the minerals in like they used to.
Right.
So we really are eating sterile, and we need to supplement minerals. What's happening? Oh my gosh, my mind just went blank.
You're fine. So we're talking about how the minerals, we need minerals for ATP. And I'm gonna interrupt you a little bit, because when we're talking about ATP and energy, the mitochondria producing ATP, right there, the Krebs cycle has a lot of components. Magnesium is a main one for sure. But when we're looking at that energy, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to sleep better, if you're trying to stay awake for your activities of daily living, if you're, anything we do, digesting food, it takes energy. And if your cells and the little mitochondria are not happy and they're not functioning correctly, all of that is affected. So when we're talking about just being tired all the time, you have to realize that it is impacting every organ in your body. So it's not just, I'm tired, so I need to take an energy drink, but that is not what fixes it.
No. So I remembered where I was going with this. So we were able to get our minerals through the soil, but we're not now. So most people are deficient in magnesium. Our magnesium levels really are supposed to be up at 6, okay? Most of us are at a 4. And because we couldn't get people like we used to, they've actually made that our new standard.
Our new normal.
Our new normal.
Our lights went out. Okay, keep talking.
So
we don't need that light.
Okay. So the new normal is 4. But guess what 4 is? Symptomatic. And who does that benefit?
The doctors.
Big Pharma.
I'm like, the doctors.
Well, yeah. If you've got all these symptoms,
right,
then we can sell you a pill.
And we go to the doctor, and I am a practicing practitioner, so I can say this. But you go to the doctor, and you have these labs, and it says normal is from 4 to 6. And so then you're like, well, you're normal.
You're there. 4 is good enough.
That's good enough. It's normal for our day and age of being obese, hyperinflamed, tired, the majority of the people in the United States, right? Mm-hmm. So that is not the normal. So when we're talking about functional medicine and we're talking about somebody who's looking at the labs for real reading, there are plenty of those labs that we look at that I say it says normal, but this is not normal. You need to be higher or you need to be lower, whatever the case may be, because we're looking at the normal for our times, not the normal for how our body should highly function.
Yep. Well, that's what I discovered when I took my first bottle home and started soaking in it. And it was within 2 weeks that it blew my mind. And it was interesting. What happened to me was that I actually went into like a healing crisis and just crashed into this deep, deep, deep sleep. And I knew that was the body was in healing mode. That's where healing happens, is in sleep. And people who can't sleep it's like you're headed for a train crash.
It's a horrible cycle.
Yeah, it is a cycle. And so this right here allowed my body, I really truly believe is as the minerals and the magnesium were becoming more efficient in the body, that the body was like, hey, I know how to do healing. And we need to go into healing mode. And I slept for like 3 days, like out. It's just boom. It reminded me of when I was pregnant and you'd get that just, I'm so exhausted for the first trimester. That's what it felt like. So thankfully it was a weekend and I was like praying, dear God, please let Monday, I've got to go to work. So help me out here. And so I woke up on Monday and I was like, I felt like I was resurrected. Literally I didn't know what healthy felt like because my nerves were so used to just being like this constant in the background.
Yeah, and everybody will say, oh, I'm just getting old, or this is just how it is, or I guess that's what happens when, and instead of saying, okay, wait, there is something off, and I don't have to be like this forever.
That's what I'm like. That was the game changer, and I wanted to share it with all of my clients. So really the beginning of all of this was just to have it on my shelf. It's convenient, get it to them. And then it was about 2 years ago where I decided, I'm like, you know what? I want to take this to the next level. I want to make this available and educate people about this so I can reach everyone in the country, in our nation.
Yeah.
So it's just little baby steps at a time. We've rebranded it. We've brought in more magnesium and stockpiled it. So we've got inventory to go out the door and just get this out to people's hands, educate them about it because it is that big of a deal. And once you experience it, and the people who know about what this is, they like I'll do farmers market, and it's so interesting because it's really your target audience.
Yes.
Finding that. And it's really, I find it's women between 35, 70. So you're getting into that premenopausal and the body starting.
Nothing works.
And it's mom taking care of the family, right? And they care about their children. And
I call that the shit zone.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a beautiful product. You don't have to take a pill. Save your money on that. You're wasting it really. And if we're talking about not just average, not just for let's get back to cell saturation. And typically most people in 30 days, this is a 32-day soak, will get their levels up to where they will feel a complete different experience.
I love it. I love it. Love it. I love it. I love it. I'm a little annoyed that this light turned off, but I'm trying not to be preoccupied. So, okay. So let's talk about, because there was so much information there. You are just so inspiring. We're doing this Embrace Womanhood thing. So what Embrace Womanhood is it is time for women to embrace who we really are. We are not byproducts of men. We do not have the same molecular structure. We do not have the same problems. We do not have all the same symptoms. And it's time that women finally say, okay, this is me. And I truly believe that women as a collective, we are healers. That is what we do. That is why we have been put in a position. It's a position of power, but it's a position of power over the home, over the minds of our children and the well-beings of our children. But anyway, getting off topic. So this Embrace Womanhood is very dear to my heart. I've been working on it for about 15 years, and I finally just got the go for it. And so what it is monthly we do workshops that are in person, and we have different practitioners in our community come and teach us about different topics. And the whole thing is combining Western and Eastern medicine, and yes, energy work in the middle of it. So a little mysticism if you want.
I love it.
I'm so excited about it because I think that it's not polarizing. It's not one way or the other. There's always room for both. But how we as individuals take that responsibility on ourselves and we make educated decisions on what is going to happen to our own bodies is huge. And I love COVID for that.
I do too.
So there are some positives during that.
That was the lull that I was talking, that depression.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And I see now, hindsight, the beauty of what COVID has done and waking people up to realize, wait a minute, I am the master of my body and
Yes,
what happens.
It is your temple, and you have to take the responsibility to take care of it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So you're teaching in, you're one of our presenters in February. By the way, it's buy one, get one free. That was like a little plug. Anyway, your topic is healing touch. So kind of, don't give us the whole spiel because we want people to attend the thing, but kind of give me an idea of what you're thinking about that topic.
Yes. There's so many ways to go about it, and I have been sitting with it. And again, I talked a little bit about when I was doing massage school and what was setting me apart from the rest of these students and why am I still practicing today. Intention is everything. Intention. It's not something magical that's coming out of me. It really is this. It's a love. It's that heart opening, and I'm here serving you. And I'm right here present now. The magic of touch, and that's the secret sauce, is intention. And so simply, I mean, everyone has it. We do. Do you have the ability to quiet the mind, let go of all of the mechanics of your day? When I walk into that room, it's me and you.
Right.
And that's where I am, 100%. Intention and focus, and the rest will just start to melt and happen. And that can be used, I think here in the United States, we're starving for touch.
Yes.
Other countries are all about the Polynesian culture. They are so loving, hug, touching. We're starving for that. And here's a golden nugget for parents with teenagers, and you're trying to communicate with these kids. Let me tell you, you go into their bedroom with some lotion and maybe an essential oil and just sit down and start rubbing their feet. Don't even have to say anything. Who's going to say no to that?
Right.
Right? And
Right.
and I'm telling you, it'll open up conversations that you'd probably never had. It touch and do, again, be present. Be just present in the stillness. Sometimes that makes people nervous. The quietness of like, oh, this is awkward silence. This is where we really begin. That's why meditation is so beautiful. It takes us into our inner self and where all of the wisdom of knowing when and how and what to do. And so that's a nugget for you.
I love it.
Everybody has it.
I love it. Can I tell you a little secret? So I one time went to this medium with my mom, and right before she spoke, I truly believe that, because what she said was aligned with something my dad would say, and we went there intentionally to hear from him or hear, to have some connection to him. And right before that, and I was like, what the heck? Like,
The silence.
there was no thoughts whatsoever. Like, never in the history of my life have I went and had zero thoughts. Usually my husband will say, what are you thinking? And I'll like, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll like turn to him and go, what are you thinking? And he's like, I was wondering what you were thinking. Right? As soon as she said what she said about my dad, I went, oh my gosh, that's what it feels like to be fully present. I try to be always, right? But that's really where it's at. And when you said that to me, I was like, oh, there it is. That's where it's at.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so simple. We want to make things harder than they are. Or we got to, the energy work really is about opening our heart. It really is. And I've had clients say, how did you do that? What did you do? Because I felt that.
Yeah.
And I said, and it's not a class that I went and learned a technique from. And I've learned a lot of stuff, and that's left brain logical, and it's all great. We need it. But that's when you shut that off. Go to the right, the heart, the connection, the stillness, and then the wisdom comes through, and it will pull from the left brain all the things that it needs or whatever. It'll just download.
Right.
It's that, and it is simply, it's just love. What did you do? How did you do that? I'm just love.
Allowed
That's
you
it.
to be you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not something to try and do. It's not something to get to. We already have it, every single one of us. It's just a matter of being still. And literally, just touch is so healing in so many ways. And we really are starving for it. You know, I'd love to see that we could be cultural connected, I watched my friend, she's Polynesian, and they get together with the tribe, and they're just like so connected. It's like, oh, I long for that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
touch is a beautiful thing, and it can be very healing. And I'm telling you, if you're struggling with your kids at home, that was the magic. I would come home, and my kids, I'd spend 10, 15 minutes, and it would be not just talking about the day, but I would pull out my lotion and rub their backs, and sometimes just the silence would bring conversations that I could have never even, that they'll just start to talk and share.
Right.
So
Right.
there's
a trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe I guess that's where I was trying to come up with the word intimacy, is more of just a knowing,
Yeah.
really. And it takes a lot of trust to allow somebody in that space.
Oh,
And I will tell you that if ever, when I'm in your space, I feel that from you. And I so appreciate it. So appreciate it. I love you so much.
I love you. I do.
Uh,
And we have shared some really sacred space.
we have.
And it didn't have to have words.
No.
It was just beautiful.
Yes. Okay. So how do I find you if I
Perfect.
want this?
So I am located here in St. George, but I know that there's people from all over the country. My website is mgsoak.com, and that will take us right to the website. You can order. There's more information about magnesium out there and how to use it and how to do it. My office here in St. George is located at 10 Diagonal, Suite 204, and I do have a phone number. It's 435-272-7222. And I love that number.
I love it.
2s and 7s.
Twos
They're
and
magical.
sevens.
There are no accidents when that came up. And so, yes, we can reach out and connect with us on the website, phone call. We do like to hit the farmer markets here in St. George. We just did the Chuacon Farmers Market last
Saturday.
week.
Yeah.
And so we're trying that one out. We're working towards getting a lotion and cream that we're producing.
Oh, amazing.
And then once we get that made, we'll be more organic for the St. George Farmers Market, where we really want to go and be right here downtown. So some other events that are coming up. I'm actually headed up to Salt Lake to the Energy Healing Conference. I'll be presenting on Saturday.
Which is Tammy Ward's
Tammy
conference.
Ward's, yep.
Yes, I
Yep.
love her.
And
she is incredible.
Yes. So I don't know if this is going to get out to any. Is this live being being broadcast at all, or are we just
So it will be broadcast on Saturday in a
Okay.
radio show.
perfect?
Yeah.
It's all good because
Yeah.
the next conference that we're going to be going up to will be in March with Barbara O'Neill, who is coming back to Utah, and she
Yay.
will be up in Ogden. So on my website, I have a Facebook, and I also have an Instagram, and it's MGNIFY. And so just do a search on that. You'll be able to find us there, and we'll have posting there for even this event coming up on Saturday. We've got tickets that we're giving away. So there's plenty of... I'm just excited to get into these conferences. And the most exciting part is I love to teach. And
Yes.
so I'll be presenting Saturday. And
So have you ever done or been to one of Tammy's events?
I went to her event that she just did. The one before was just before Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And we went up and present. Well, I didn't get to present, but I did get to have our booth and sell our magnesium and meet her and get to know her.
Yeah.
Lots of people, lots of information, just really good stuff.
Yep. I've presented with her a couple of times, and every single time has been unique and amazing. The crowd she draws is so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, she has done an amazing.
She does.
thing. I've watched her just from our very first event all the way to today, and it's been incredible to watch
that's
her.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time she's done an event, I'm like, someday. And then I finally did, and she's a great woman.
And I do want to say too, what you're doing, and I've just watching you and your hard work and your dedication in school and caring for your family and all, and I just look at you and I'm like, girlfriend, how are you living?
I live an amazing life.
And so when you came to me and talked about Embrace Womanhood and what your vision was and wanting to bring in these presenters, I really had to sit with this because it's like my schedule's busy, but I love what you're doing and I'm supporting it because I told you this when I'm like, this is really, I'm doing this for you mostly because I love your passion and I want to see you be successful and I want the community to be able to have this network of information for these women, that there is a power here when we come together and we learn together and share together. It's a community. And so I'm here and I'm on board. I'll be doing a couple more classes throughout the year. I want to promote this and get it out and just share with everyone because this is good news.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's what I need. And that's one of the things. I can't do this alone, right?
Right.
If I want to have it be successful, I need other people to be successful with me. And that is my main goal, is to provide the community with the resources they need, but also for them to have an opportunity to develop relationships with practitioners that they normally wouldn't have just by going there and going to an appointment or seeing them at the grocery store, right? I want them to have a genuine relationship so that not only are we promoting each other, but our community is loving what we do too. It's so powerful to me. And if we bring, I don't know why, the 120 is a number that's just always in this event space, right? But if we can bring 120 women together and make it to where they love and cherish just the moments we're together, imagine how powerful that would be.
Yeah.
It gets
Goosebumps.
It gets me excited. Yeah, I love it. So you will be presenting on February 12th here in St. George. We're on Eventbrite. It's called Embrace Womanhood 2026, the Year of the Woman. And I'm really excited for everybody that wants to come and meet you. Thank you so much for taking
welcome.
this opportunity to talk with me about this. And anybody that wants to get in touch with Audrey, but, is a little intimidated, by all means, reach out to me. I'll help you connect. But
I can be intimidating.
Me too.
Some people are like, you're scary.
That's why we have Botox. Little secret. But no, I love it. Thank you, Audrey,
You're
so
welcome.
much for being here with me today.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you.
Love you too. Boing. Not too bad.
Not too bad. I love it.
Oh my gosh, I was losing sleep about this, but once I get in and just talk about what you love, it flows.
It does. And I think people need to hear stories like that, like where you came from.
It really does matter. Because I think they can relate to a lot of the stories that are in their own life that parallel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're probably sleeping out there.
They probably
What?
are.
This was supposed to be
No, I don't
25
know.
minutes, and now we're... Was it an hour or more?
No, I think it was more like 40 minutes, but it's okay.
So...
Thank you for joining us on the Embrace Womanhood podcast.